Let me now introduce our guests this evening to talk us through this discussion. We've got Mr. Syed Nasir Hussain, Congress MP from the Rajya Sabha, Lalita Kumaramangalam, member of the BJP, Director India Foundation. Atishi is an MLA and spokesperson of the Aam Aadmi Party. We also have Aarti Jairath, senior journalist with us. Rajiv Nair, he is a senior advocate of the Delhi High Court. Thank you very much to all of you joining us. Let me first come to you, Aarti Jairath. I want to begin with the analysis first. Ms. Jairath, do you feel that this is a fresh confrontation of a very old festering problem which has resurfaced all over again, and also a very ugly manifestation of it? That now, as we understand, the Delhi government is actually an individual.
Yes, absolutely. Look, for the last 6 years, this tussle has been going on between Arvind Kejriwal and the BJP government at the center on who controls Delhi. And you remember, I mean, right from the beginning, they have been giving Arvind Kejriwal a really hard time by getting, by overruling his decisions, by, sort of getting into confrontations with him. And of course, Kejriwal is, sort of up the tensions by hitting back and doing dharnas and, calling the center names and so on and so forth. So this tussle has been going on. Now, we thought that this tussle had ended, firstly, with the Supreme Court ruling in 2018, which I think made it very clear that although Delhi is not a state, nevertheless, the LG is an administrator and he is bound by the advice of the cabinet, except in the 3 areas which remain under central purview, that is the security, law and order, police and land. Yet, I think, what has brought the tensions to the fore again is the BJP's defeat in last year's assembly polls, which, as you know, the BJP really upped the ante by sending Amit Shah out on an amazing campaign blitzkrieg. He was doing nukkad meetings all over Delhi.
Yeah.
And yet, Arvind Kejriwal romped home with, 62 of the 70 seats. It was a humiliating defeat for the BJP. They had polarized, divided, run a really vicious campaign, making Shaheen Bagh the focus and everything. So I think,
but did manage a significant rise in their voter percentage.
They did, but the Aam Aadmi Party held on to its vote share, if you remember. Most of those votes came at the expense of the Congress.
Yeah.
So the Aam Aadmi Party held on to its vote share and held on to more or less the same seats that it had won 5 years ago.
Correct.
So I think that that's what's kind of exacerbated tensions again. And again, this whole tussle for who runs Delhi. Delhi is not really, it's not more than a municipal corporation, if you want to call it. But the fact is that it's the capital of the country. And it's very high profile, and I think it's very prestigious. And so this fight between the Home Ministry and Arvind Kejriwal, is what is causing this present thing. And, to my mind, I'm not a legal person. Rajiv Nair would be better placed to, look at the legality of it.
Yeah.
But the politics of it is, and the timing is really interesting because next year are the MCD polls in Delhi. And, as you know, the BJP has been ruling the MCDs for the last 15 years.
Correct.
So this is going to be a huge test next year.
Okay.
Of the Aam Aadmi
Politically, it's
Party
going to be a huge test for the Aam Aadmi Party. But Aarti, you mentioned very briefly, yes, and you mentioned very briefly about the legal aspects. And yes, who better than Mr. Nair to talk about that? Mr. Rajiv Nair, I want to come to you now. The central government says that the point of the confrontation between the Delhi government and the centre, and all those files being sent, rejected, being sent back, dharna, protests, all of that was because the state government chose to interpret the NCT bill in a wrong way. And thus, more clarity has been brought in to end the ambiguity. This is what the government says.
I want to step back a bit before I answer this question.
Sure.
So this amendment was pursuant to Article 239, capital A of the Constitution was amended, and after that, the amendment so incorporated brought into force the separation of powers. This was tested before the Constitution bench in 2018. Aarti is absolutely right. And except for three things, the government, elected government, could take all decisions. In the case of a disagreement with the lieutenant governor, then they were all the same. And then finally the president in the case of a disagreement. But I want to ask you something more fundamental. What is it that suddenly has prompted this act?
2013.
Why is it that suddenly both houses have acted in the last 1 week to pass this amendment?
13, you are 15.
Why should there not be or should not have been a greater discussion or debate on what it will entail or what it so interpreted? Why should it not have been referred to a select committee? Why this rush? Why this hurry? And today, you have completely destroyed a democratically elected government and substituted, as you rightly say, by one man, the lieutenant governor, who's your own arm. So
No, but
now
then, Mr.
today,
Nair, what about the interpretation? The central government says that we are fixing the interpretation problem.
this is completely contrary to the Constitution bench judgment. If you are substituting, you are actually, this amendment is negating the judgment because you are substituting the government instead of the elected government to be the lieutenant governor. Now I ask myself, please just look at 239 capital A 4. They say there shall be a council of ministers to aid and advise the lieutenant governor. What will be the impact after this amendment? But please look more fundamentally at 6. It says council of ministers shall be collectively responsible to the legislative assembly. So where is this doctrine of separation of powers? You have completely obliterated the distinction. You have made the chief minister less than even the chief secretary. I don't think for a minute, I mean, they are better experts than me, but I'll be surprised if it stands the test of judicial scrutiny.
Okay. Very interesting legal aspect being discussed. Let me now come to the politics with Mr. Hussain as well as Atishi, who's now with us. Good evening, Atishi. I want to come to you now. What is your, if in a nutshell you were to tell us the 2 or 3 problems that you have with this clarity, quote unquote clarity, and ending of ambiguity that the central government has done, what would it be?
See, I think, Sanket, first of all, that the fact that the bill is unconstitutional has already been stated by Rajiv Ji, who was just speaking before me. And I think it's very clear that, as he rightly said, that the Constitution bench clarified what 239 AA says. And the position is very clear that apart from land, law and order and police, all other power lies with the elected legislature and therefore with the elected government and the cabinet. Now, it is exactly that clarity which the Supreme Court Constitution bench gave that this bill is attempting to take away. And I think that the issue per se is not legal, but the issue is political. The issue is political because after 2 successive attempts at electoral battles in Delhi, where the BJP has been successively trounced in Delhi despite their best attempt. I mean, all senior leadership of the BJP, the cabinet of ministers, members of parliament, chief ministers, all campaigned in full force against Arvind Kejriwal in Delhi, and yet despite that, they could not go beyond a single-digit figure. Despite attempts in the previous government to buy off MLAs, to break the government, get a new chief minister in place, they are not able to do this with the Aam Aadmi Party. And now, with Aam Aadmi Party expanding, with Aam Aadmi Party coming number 2 in the Surat municipal elections, with surveys showing that it will form the government in Punjab, with surveys showing that Aam Aadmi Party now will have electoral presence in Uttarakhand. So it is very clear that BJP does not want Aam Aadmi Party, does not want the Delhi model, does not want Arvind Kejriwal's model of governance to prosper. What they basically want is that the work that Arvind Kejriwal is doing in Delhi, which is getting recognition all over the country and across the world, should come to a standstill. And this is their method of doing so. It is a completely unconstitutional method, let me tell you that.
Okay. I'm going to go to Lalitha Kumaramangalam also in just a short moment. But Mr. Hussain, you have heard the legal assessment, you have heard the political assessment of the Aam Aadmi Party. I want to know from you, what is the Congress Party's assessment? Do you feel that this will thus become a template where in a federal structure, you will have the center becoming more powerful as opposed to states?
Sanket, BJP has lost 6 elections in a row in Delhi. 3 against the Congress Party led by Srimati Sheila Dixit, and then 3 against Aam Aadmi Party from 2013 till now. 6 elections in a row. One should remember that. Then this continuous struggle between the Delhi government and the central government. If you look at all the bills that came up in the Parliament, whether it was Mines and Minerals Bill, whether it was the Delhi amendment.
Okay, we seem to have lost that video
Look at
and
all
audio
the bills
connection
that
on
have
Mr.
come.
Hussain. Yeah, he's back with us. Yes, Mr. Hussain, you were saying.
Now, if you look at all these bills, Mines and Minerals, if you look at Delhi Amendment Bill, if you look at today's Finance Institution Bill, all this bill has a very strong leaning towards the center. They want to have a strong center. It has scant respect to the federal structure of our constitution. They want to usurp all the powers of the states. This is how the central government is going about this entire issue. Here it is very, very clear. Lieutenant governor means the government. What is this? Is the lieutenant governor elected by the people of Delhi? How can he become the government? The representatives of the people who are directly elected people can only form the government. The Council of Ministers are responsible to the Assembly, not to the LG. How can the Assembly have prior permission before taking up any agenda in the Assembly? This is unheard of. How can the Assembly have the similar rules as the Lok Sabha? Every Assembly in the country, in different state, has different rules, and they have made their own rules. If you look at every section that they have amended, I'm sure that Mr. Raju Nair was very, very clear on that. Every section that was amended was against the federal structure, was against the representative bill, was against the democracy of our country. It was against the democratic spirit in which the elections and the assemblies run in our country. The way they have tried to do away and usurp power here, it is very, very clear they want to dominate Delhi. Not directly, but
so the
indirectly
intentions are being questioned by the Congress as well as the Aam Aadmi Party. I have Ms. Lalitha Kumaramangalam now joining us of the Bharatiya Janata Party. Ms. Kumaramangalam, it's the intentions that are being questioned. Otherwise, why would you, with the help of a bill, undermine the elected government of a state and then conclude that in Delhi, government equals the lieutenant governor?
Hi, Sanket. I don't know if you all can see me. I think there's something wrong with the visual.
Yeah, but we can
hear me because I wasn't able to hear everybody else very clearly. Okay, now actually I only heard part of what Mr. Rajiv Nair or Aarti or Mr. Hussain had said, and also Atishi. Let me say that what the BJP government has done today is to try and minimize the confusion and the sort of altercations that have been happening between the Kejriwal government and the central government. Despite the Congress MP being very critical of the BJP, I will have to admit that in the days when Sheila Dixit was in power, and it's quite true that the BJP hasn't been in power in Delhi for a very, very long time. This sort of bitter relationship was never there when she was in power. She was a congresswoman, I think, and you all may think that it's strange that somebody from the BJP is admitting this. But from what I remember, and I remember very well, Sheila ji always made it a point to be, not only approachable, but also on good terms with everybody in the central government, because she knew that Delhi being the capital, this is not an ordinary UT, as you know, Union Territory. That centre and the state needed to work together. An enormous amount of work was done during her time, let's admit that, and give her the credit for it. Now, after the Kejriwal government came in, whatever the reason is, there has been an enormous amount of acrimony. One may go into questions of whether we agree with Mr. Kejriwal's style of governance, whether he's done good work, not done. All of that, I think, is, it's really a political, as I think Atishi said, this is a political argument that will be used. Now, what we need to look at is the fact that being the government of Delhi, this constant skirmishes between the governments on both sides don't do the people of Delhi or the city of Delhi any good. Undoubtedly, the AAP's footprint is growing in the rest of India. I'm not saying no. In fact, I think it was on Vasu's show that I actually congratulated her colleague for the good job, for the great showing they've had in Surat. But that is politics aside. The fact is that Delhi needs far more work than has been done. There has been a lot of work that has been done jointly by the centre and the Delhi government, notably the Delhi Metro, which, as is one of the best things about Delhi today. And many other such things have also been there. But because of the constant skirmishes between, and I mean skirmishes politically and administratively, governance in Delhi has taken a hit. And I think this amendment yesterday and today was to see that we could minimize that.
No, how will it minimize? Because that's the question. By making one individual the government, you have basically fixed it in your favor. Because who will the LG report to? The centre.
No, we
so
have
that's
not,
stronger central rule. Kejriwal has a simple question, and I want an answer from you, Ms. Kumaramanglam. Mr. Kejriwal has a simple question, and I'm framing that question for you so that you can give us an answer, and then we can continue the debate. What is the need of a chief minister in Delhi then, if the government is LG? How would you respond?
We're not saying the government is LG. The government is the person who's the coordinator, or rather the go-by person for the government of Delhi with the centre. Now, Delhi is the capital of the country. It's not, as I have already said, it's not just a UT like the other UTs in India. And we cannot place it on the same, how do you say, the same arrangements for Delhi as you have for the various other
here's the thing, Ms. Kumaramanglam, here's the thing. You say that there was great degree of acrimony between the Aam Aadmi Party as well as the LG, right? They were not coming to a consensus. It was leading to problems in Delhi.
More often than not, yes.
Absolutely. But don't you think that in a passage of a bill as crucial as this, to clear the air, you also need a greater degree of consultation, as Mr. Nair was saying, and not just railroad it through? Don't you think this will cause acrimony?
But Sanket, the problem that everybody has with every bill that is passed, because the BJP does have a majority in parliament, is that it is railroaded.
No, but then there will have to be a discussion.
To walk out of parliament, the BJP is not telling them to walk out of parliament.
How about sending it to a select committee, more discussion? It almost appeared as if you were in a hurry.
It has not been done illegally at all. And this whole argument that keeps going on and on all the time, that we need more time, we need...
Okay. So you've heard what Lalitha Kumaramanglam had to say. Fair enough. You've made your points. Very quickly, let's take a counter to these points. Atishi, would you like to come in? You've heard what Ms. Kumaramanglam has to say.
Actually, Lalita ji, I am quite amazed at what you say. You say that there have been skirmishes, differences, etc. But all of that legal position was clarified by the Constitution bench of the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court Constitution bench clearly and unequivocally said that apart from land, law and order and police, the aid and advice of the cabinet ministers is binding upon the Lieutenant Governor. Then why, pray may I ask you, does the BJP need to go against the Constitution bench of the Supreme Court? Because the Supreme Court has very clearly said that the government is not the Lieutenant Governor. I think I would prefer if the BJP was to come up front and admit that we are trying to usurp power. We do not like Arvind Kejriwal. We do not like the work Arvind Kejriwal does. We do not like the face of Arvind Kejriwal. We do not want Arvind Kejriwal to grow politically. That's why we are looking to curtail his power. At least be upfront and admit it. Do not couch behind these legal arguments because they are a complete farce.
Okay. Very quick right to reply to Ms. Kumaramangalam and then Mr. Nair.
Atishi has the right to her own opinion. This is a democracy. Everybody will have their own opinion, and it's not necessary that I have to agree with her. Obviously, it's quite clear from both her tone and tenor that the AAP is not exactly on even keel with the BJP, and the accusation that we hate Arvind Kejriwal, I can turn around to her. Please let me finish. I didn't interrupt when you were talking. Do me the courtesy of letting me finish. I can turn her own argument around and say the AAP hates the BJP also and hates Modi much more than probably we hate.
No, the pointed question, Ms. Kumaramangalam, is that why did you go against the Supreme Court order? The Supreme Court order very clearly mentions that the government is the elected government, not the LG.
You must understand that support at one. Don't forget that the Supreme Court, Delhi has had for how many decades now? Before that, how was Delhi being administered? So let's not, I mean, if you want to split hairs, go back 40 years, not just 20 years when Delhi actually was made into a UT. Originally, it was said that Delhi would have a government where everybody reported directly to the LG. Because of lots of political pressure, etc., there was a bill, there was an amendment in the bill which made Delhi into UT.
Okay, one by one.
Government.
If we speak together, we won't be able to understand a thing.
Delhi is very different from what it was 25
Yeah,
it's
a complicated subject. One by one.
Very clear.
So here, let's clear the air. One moment. A political argument is being made. One moment. We have the solution right here on the show. Atishi ji, one moment. We have the solution right here on the show in the form of Mr. Nair. Mr. Nair, settle this for us. The debate over here is that the legislation
has made it very clear. Lalita ji has made it very clear that they are not going by the order of the constitution.
Okay, let me.
She says, "Pehle ki baat dekho, pehle aise chalta tha." She has just admitted on your show that BJP does not want to
Mr. Nair.
Again, that's a matter of
Mr. Nair. Mr. Nair. So political arguments aside, Mr. Nair, the point that is being made is that this legislation goes against the Supreme Court's assessment or their own judgment. Where do you stand on this issue?
Sanket, I'm a little surprised that Mrs. Lalita, who is representing the BJP in the government, did not even answer the legal question. Now, the legal question is that if there is a judgment in place, a constitution bench judgment in place which outlines the respective powers of the legislature and the executive, then can you supplant this without any discussion? No thought. She says Sheila Dikshit was a good chief minister because she cooperated with the central government. So the object is that anybody who doesn't cooperate with the central government can be the chief minister of a constitutional amendment which nullifies the Supreme Court judgment. What is
that's your interpretation
incorrect to say that the government can mean the lieutenant governor? Then what is the purpose of an assembly? What is the purpose of Kejriwal? He might as well abdicate.
Okay, very quickly, a quick right to reply, Ms. Kumaramangalam, as I'm running out of time.
Yeah, everything that is being, all the accusations being leveled at me are quite purely their versions of what they think I'm saying. I am not saying that the Delhi government is not a government. I am not saying that only when they agree with the center. What I said about Sheila Dikshit ji was that she made sure that the Delhi government and the central government work smoothly in tandem. And it was the same form of government that was there when she was in power as it is now. The acrimony between the Delhi and the center has really sprung up only after the AAP came into power. Whatever the reason for it may be, I don't think this is to show for that. But the accusation that we need more and more.
Well, Ms. Kumaramangalam,
discussion.
I don't know how.
No, I would also like to ask one legal question to end my thing. That is Parliament supreme to Supreme Court, or is it the other way around?
Wow. Parliament is supreme, yes, but within the framework of the Constitution, and it is for the Supreme Court to decide whether any law that Parliament passes.
Sure, I'm just saying if the purpose was okay. I've run out of time.
Sorry,
but a hard stop on this discussion as I've run out of time. But see, the point is, if the purpose was to end the acrimony, it's really not served the purpose, has it? Because the acrimony has only just begun. Thank you very much to all of you all for joining us.